thank you so much for coming in, stopping by, using your time, and sharing it with me. I'm Darby Guillory Jr., a small business owner and an author who want to tell you some of my experiences and some things that I learned along the way. Now, most people didn't grow up like that I grew up. I grew up in business. My daddy was a business owner, my papa was a business owner, and my great grandfather was a business owner. My uncles owned businesses and my first cousin. So I was raised in this environment. So I just want to show you some things that we learned along the way. It took a long time for some of the things for us to learn, but we're going to give it to you real quick. So I hope you please enjoy. So imagine you have a great idea. Imagine the idea of creativity comes to you. The spark of genius comes. You're at your house, you're at work, you're watching YouTube, maybe watching this video, and you have a great idea. And you're like, oh man, I can do this. It might be a product, it might be a service, it might be some software, it could be some type of transportation. And you're like, I can really do this. And you go tell your friends, your buddies, your family, and they're all behind you. And then they ask that one simple question: how much is going to cost? And you're like, I don't know. And you're like, well, I'll probably need X amount of money. And you're like, do you have that? And you're like, no, I don't. And then all of a sudden, your dreams come crashing down. Now, what do? Most people, we just sit on that dream. We put it to bed and we think about it later on. 6 months pass, 12 months pass. We see that same idea somebody else doing. Haven't we all been there before? Had a great idea, slept on it, didn't have the money, didn't have the funds. We didn't really think about how to go get it. We just knew we didn't have it. So we just put it to the side and we see somebody else with our dreams, with our business, with our products, with our services. Yes, that happened to all of us. But let that happen no more. I'm here to tell you a way where you can get money that most people don't understand. It's a very, very simple thing. Just imagine a partnership with you, your family, your friends, your co-workers, maybe your boss, maybe your neighbor, maybe an old teacher, maybe that businessman you always knew that's your daddy's best friend, with somebody. That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, for the most part, when I go about telling people about this idea, they like it, but they all get hung up on one thing. I tell them, we're going to be a partnership, and people do not like to give up equity. I don't know why. They don't want to lose control. But here's one thing. If I can go somewhere, I can go it fast. But I want to go forward, I need people. We all need people to grow. Now, think about all the big guys. Think about all the big CEOs, all your billionaires, all your millionaires. They all gave up control. You're going to say, oh no, this is my baby. This is my dream. Why would I don't do that? They're going to do me like Steve Jobs and kick me out of my own company. Well, maybe so. I'm not lying. It could be a possibility. He did come back 20 years later, though. But you'll never reach to that level of greatness without giving up control. Now, let's think about Elon Musk, worth hundreds of billions of dollars. How much do you think he really owned a Tesla? 90%? 80%? For sure, he got to own at least 50% of his own company. Elon only owns 21% shares of Tesla. 21%. He gave up to 80% to get where he's at. Wouldn't you like to have 100 billion? Be worth hundreds of billions of dollars? What about Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time? Surely he didn't give up that much. He's the greatest of all time. He only owns 38%. 38%. What about the founders of Google? 6%. They worth hundreds of billions of dollars with 6% of their own of equity. That's it. So if you want to grow, you got to give up something. Now imagine you have one pie, this whole pie, it belongs to you. And they say this pie is worth $100,000. It's a good pie. You like this pie. But you have 10 other people with you who's on your same level, maybe even smarter, maybe more richer, more influence. And that pie now altogether is worth $5 million. But you only have 20% of that pie. You got one slice at 20%. Now, what is 20% of 5 million? That's $1 million. Now, would you rather have $1 million slice or 100,000 whole pie? I don't know about you, but I would take that $1 million slice and call it a day. So that's what we're going to talk about. How to get that $1 million slice. Now, we're going to talk about funds because every business needs funds. Big guys, small guys. Have you seen it in the news? McDonald's, Microsoft, they're always raising money, issuing new shares. Walmart. Don't matter if you're a millionaire, a billionaire, an average person, we always need funds. Now, the big guys know one thing. It's better to use somebody else's money than your own money. Now, we will use our own money, but not all of it. You know, most small business owners think that they got to do everything by themselves. They got to use all their own money to make their dreams come true. Now, you can. It might take a little while longer, and you have more control, and, you know, if that's for you, maybe. But to really grow, you need to use others and use other people's capital. You know, you can go the traditional route and just get a bank loan. That's one way. Or you can go to the market, the stock market, raise money, have an IPO, get public markets to help you. That's another way. You can find investment groups. You can partner with your friends or family. That's another way. You can go out in credit card debt if that's how you feel. And then sometimes you need to do a little bit of all of them. You know, depending what your dreaming is and everything. So now we're going to talk about what is a fund directly. Now, a fund, all it is a pool of money designed for a special purpose. Now, a hedge fund, there's a private equity fund, there's a real estate fund. You can make funds for anything. Now, let's say we did a hedge fund. What is a hedge fund? You hear it on the news, you hear it on CNBC, on YouTube, and all these hedge fund managers worth billions and billions of dollars. What does all this mean? All a hedge fund is we pull money together and then we buy equities on the stock market. We buy treasury bills from the U.S. government. We buy CDs from the banks. We buy bonds from companies. So we buying public issued markets. That's all we doing. We're going to take the money, start an E-Trade account, a Ameritrade account, some type of brokerage, and we're going to put our money together and we're going to buy Apple, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, things like that, or whatever you're into, you know. Now, private equity. What is a private equity fund? Now, private equity is the same thing. We're going to pull money together, but instead of buying off the stock market, we're going to buy privately owned businesses. So we're going to go buy the restaurant down the street. We're going to go buy the trucking company down the street. We're going to use that money to buy a regular company for ourselves. And then a real estate fund, the same thing. We're going to pull money together, buy single-family houses, duplex, apartments, hotels, commercial real estate, whatever your niche is. So now, on funds, it's very simple. It sounds complicated and everybody uses all mystery about a fund. I'm a fund manager and hedge fund guys and private equity guys. But all it is just a simple partnership with more than 2 or 3 people. Now, the old days, if you listen to Warren Buffett talk when he got started, or any of the old guys, they'll tell you, when I had my partnership, when I started my partnership, when I closed my partnership. A fund is nothing but a partnership with more than a couple of guys. You know, me, you, and your brother all went and started a restaurant, and it's just 3 of us. It'd just be a regular old partnership because it's only 3 of us. Now, but we needed, 10, 15 people to help us make that dream. We'll do it through a fund. Now, some people might call it a fund. Some people might call it a partnership, but it's all the same thing. You're going to have one primarily guy who's going to work the restaurant, who's going to manage the restaurant, who's going to be overseer of it all. All the rest going to be investors, and they're going to get their cut. Simple as that. So now you might say, well, how that can help me? Really, how can that help me? I have a dream of starting a lawn business. This old simple lawn business. How can it help me? Well, let's say you need a new truck, a new trailer. You need a weed eater. You need a lawnmower. How much all that will cost you? Do you need a couple of them? So you would 10,000, 20,000, 50,000? I don't know. I don't know how much you're gonna need. But if you had only $3,000 and you needed $30,000, yeah, you can go get a loan. You could if you got good credit. You want to pay a high interest rate, or you could go to your family and friends and structure it where, hey, I need 3,000 from mama, from daddy, from my brother, from my friend, from my neighbor, and we raised $30,000. Now you can go buy all your equipment and start your business ASAP. Now you go do the work. You're gonna keep 20% of the money. 80% can go back to your investors. It's the same thing. The same way the big boys make their money. They all started. They raised $1 million. Now they're worth billions. You look at your top 20 hedge fund guys, all the way up from Jim Simons on down, worth $30 billion. They didn't start with them. They started with other people's money. They raised $4 or $5 million, gave them 20. They kept 20 for themselves, gave them 80% back, and over time grew that to where now he's worth 30-something billion. Steve Schwarzman's from BlackRock, from Blackstone. They all did the same thing. Larry Finch, they did the same thing. Now these guys have trillions of dollars under management. We just gonna take it and use it for a smaller fund. Now, you might well say, well, I don't have rich people who can do that for me. I can't go. My dad not a millionaire. My uncle is just an average guy. It doesn't matter, because with the rule from the SEC, which most 80% of all your funds are just right here, Reg D 506B, where you can have 100 people in your fund. 35 of them can be non-accredited. Now you say, what's non-accredited? What do that mean? That mean they make less than $200,000. That you can raise money from 35 individuals who make less than $200,000. Now the government believe, hey, if you make over $200,000, you should be smart enough to make your own decision. You don't need no help from nobody, and it was rightfully so. But also, if you keep it under 25 million originally, you ain't got to do no paperwork. You need no license, no nothing. You don't need nothing to go raise 25. Think about it. You can go raise, hypothetically, 25 million with no paperwork. No, you don't got to give nothing to the government. They look at you as a small business. So anything under 25 million, it's just a small business. Whatever you do with your small business, pretty much that's on you. Now, after a while, if you grow big enough, they're going to want a lot of stuff from you. But for the most part, that's where we're going to keep it at. Now, the standard fund model is you go raise money, you give 80% to the investors, and you keep 20 from you working it and doing everything. So, hypothetically, let's say we're going to raise $1 million. On that $1 million, I get 10 people to give me 100,000. Now, 20% would that belong to me. So 80% would belong to them. So there would be 8% of the company would belong to them, to each individual. But mostly, just a little tip, mostly before you can get anybody to invest in your fund, they want to see you put your own money up. So if you're selling $10,000 shares, they want to see at least you put up $10,000. You selling $100,000 worth of shares, they want to see you put up that per share. Just a little side note. Now, sometimes you can find the right investor who just needs somebody to go do the work, and they'll be perfect for you. But they want to see you put your own money. So as a fund manager, you should have at least one part of the share. So instead of raising $1 million from 10, I'll raise 900,000 from 9, and I'll put in 100,000. So now my equity will be 28% instead of 20%. So that's normally how things goes. Now, the beauty of all this is if you wanted to open up a restaurant, or say you want to buy a restaurant, let's say in your town there's a great mom and pop restaurant, been there for 20, 30 years. Everybody know them in your town. And everybody know they can have 2 to 3, 4, 5 locations, or even bring it worldwide. They're getting older now. They're looking for retire. Their kids are gone. And this could be a great opportunity. Now, you can use this fund under the private equity model to raise the money and to go buy this business from them. Now, what you would do if you needed, say they want to sell it for $1 million, you needed to raise $1 million. You only want to really raise 100,000, maybe 200,000. All you want to do is raise enough to go to the bank to get the loan. Now you get the loan because it's already a business. It's already generating positive cash flow. It's already have an established name in the community. So all you have to really do is go raise 100,000, 150,000 to go buy this restaurant. Now you say, hey, I got 10,000, I got 20,000. You can be the first one to your fund. Put 10, 20,000 in. Go raise it from all your family and friends to for 100,000 and go get the loan and be in business. Or you can do it with an apartment complex, or with duplexes, or with single family homes, or you want to build a couple of houses in a brand new subdivision. It's the same thing. You can do the exact same thing with the fund model. Now, it's very simple to get it going. But the one bad part is it's a lot of paperwork. I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of paperwork. You have a lot of legal documents. And if you go do a quick Google search for a hedge fund paperwork, private equity, real estate, them attorneys gonna want 10 to 30 to 50,000, depending on what the scope is of what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it in your platform. And you're like, what? You want me to go spend 20,000 just on some paper? Maybe that's what the government want, I guess. Not what I want you to do, but that's what the government wants you to do. And I guess all attorneys want you to do that too. But I have a simpler way for you. You can do what I did. I have a hedge fund. It's called Cowboy Security. You can look me up on Egner, SEC. I use the same documents to go pitch to, regional banks and high network individuals. I have used the same to start my private equity company. Even though I didn't do nothing with it yet, I've used the same thing to get it all done. Now, if you had 20,000 to invest into your company, I wouldn't say to go use it on paperwork. I would say that you should look for other ways. And one of the other ways that you can look for is I have documents and temp documents that will save you a lot of money. You have to plug and play. You have to put in your description. You have to put in your name, your company name, how you going to make the money, how you going to do returns. But it can save you a lot of money. Now, you saying, well, okay, I knew after all this, they would want something to sell me. Well, if you don't want to be a fund manager, that's fine. But for those who want to grow and use the fund method, I think this can help you out. Now, you'll say, what, 5,000? Oh, he must try to sell me for 5,000. The lowest one he said for attorney was 10,000. He probably want 5,000. Nope, that's too much. 4,000, too much. 3,000, 1,000, too much. 500, nope, too much. You can start your own fund for only $200. That's it, $200. Your own paperwork. You have your PPM, your operating agreement, your subscribe agreement, your management agreement. You have everything you need where you can go to any individual, any group of investors, any bank, just to show them that, hey, all my stuff is in a row. Just for $200. If you want to do a hedge fund, $200. If you want to do a private equity fund, $200. A real estate fund, $200. That's all the paperwork you need. Well, you need to do your own LLC also from whatever state you're in. But besides that, $300, you can have all your paperwork, your LLC to the state, and then the documents right here to raise potentially unlimited amount. On the 506B, Reg D, you can potentially raise $100 billion. There's no limit on how much you can raise. If you had 100 investors and they all gave you $1 billion, that's $100 billion. You could raise that under these documents. You can raise this with 506B. Now, you can go check my fund out on secegner.com if you want to. You can check out my website, makeafund.net, where I'm selling your templates for $200 for the hedge fund, $200 for the private equity. Or you can go buy both of them now at a sale for $300 if you don't know which one you want to use. So you can go and check this out on makeafund.net. Get your own docs, get your own PPM, operating agreement, management agreement, subscribe agreement. Now, from my experience, most investors, what they really want to know is what's in that subscribe agreement. They want to know how they're getting paid, how you gonna do the money. Because at the end of the day, everybody want to know about for their own pockets. How can you help them out? And then the side tip, when you go to pitch your investors, You have to think about it as a customer, as in how Google look, how Amazon look at customers and say, man, we gotta make this so good. It's gonna be hard to say no. That's why they have Black Friday sales. That's why your car lots have Black Friday sales. They want to make it so good. Even if you do say no, it's gonna hurt. And so when you go pitch to your investors, remember, you want to make the opportunity so good. You want to make the business so good that even if they do tell you no, it's going to hurt. That's how you get to investments to give you money. To make it so good, it's hard to say no. Now, you watching TV, you see the ads for Black Friday from Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, Target. Even though you don't need 95% of that stuff, you might need one thing. You want it all because the deals are so good. You just want it. Use that same idea when you go pitch it to your investors. Make it so good, it's going to hurt to say no. So let's recap. You have a great idea. You have a great product, service, software you want to start. And you have no money or not enough money to get it started. You had this idea before. You let it slip away and somebody else did it and made millions. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back and research and look about a fund. Go look up 506B, Reg D. Go look it up, the hedge fund managers, how much these hedge fund managers are worth, how much these private equity managers are worth, and see if you can do it. Go look at Grant Cardone, who's a real estate tycoon who used real estate funds. Go back and look at that and see, can you do this? Can I use this to help my dreams come true? And I'm willing to give up control to get partnerships. Can I partner up with other people? Can I use other people, capital, and influence? You got to think about it. If you had 10 partners, you have all day influence going behind you. They don't want to lose money. They want to make as much money as possible. So all their families, all their friends will come support you because they want their investment to make money. So if this is for you, I want you to go to my website at makeafund.net. Go look at the resources I have on there from the SEC, on the SBA. Go and look and see if this is really for you. And if so, please buy the documents. Start your own fund. Go forth and live your dreams. Go forth and build your company. Now, I just finished my book called Financial Literacy, 11 Things That Everyone Should Know. Now, this is a quick, brief description of what I believe everybody should know about financial literacy. Now, it's talking about budgeting, how to use debt, what is credit, what is your net worth, home ownership, entrepreneurship, what is funds. It explains all your bases on what you need to become financial literacy as a grown-up. I mean, the schools don't really teach you nothing about this. They don't teach you about how to get a little loan, not to mess up your credit, how to use credit. Is debt good? Is debt bad? How to budget. Should I live on the budget? Is budget even important? What about saving? Should I save money or should I just go and live my life and have my best life now? This is a brief summary of how you do this. If you want to check this book out, please go to my website, makeafund.net. It's going to be on there. You can buy it. I ship it to you quick. And I want to thank you for taking time to come and watch me, to listen to me. You could have did anything. I really appreciate your time and your efforts for watching this.